Hello YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to The Outsiders. And obviously this is Let's Play an RPG 4 and it's going to be about feedback and comments. And we're going to go into detail around some of the feedback and comments you've given plus the playtesters. Now obviously when I say playtesters there isn't really much to play but a packet of information at this point. But needless to say, some of the comments that came out have been massively useful in directing the shape of this beginning RPG. And you're going to get to see how valuable your comments actually are to this process. So without further ado, let's look at a few of the comments that you've sent in and let's go over a few of the answers. And I'll see you in a few minutes. Now, Jeffrey Garrison comments the following. He says, theme and tone of the Outsiders campaign can be described as the following. Summarised with core thematic concepts. They translate into the following. Possible examples would include survivalist, apocalyptic, eclipsing civilization, last stand, guerrilla warfare, etc. And Jeffrey, you're bang on. That's exactly what the theme and tone of the Outsiders campaign would be. I couldn't have put it better myself. And that definitely answers a few of the questions that came out from the playgroup and from other people who made comments about where it was heading. I probably alluded to it, but you succinctly hit the nail on the head. So I thank you for that. And you made some wonderful comments throughout the video. Now, taking charisma out was obviously going to cause quite a few questions, both from the playtesters and comments from the YouTube community at large. It was quite interesting. The first couple of days, the movement within YouTube was split initially for the first few hours. Then there was quite a way of people saying put charisma in. Then, of course, over the week, which is the whole point of giving it a week, it swung back. And we ended up with what I would call a dead tie between playtesters and YouTube people. It came out about 80-20 in the following way. For people who'd played the game under 12 years, I'm referring to, 80-20 in favour of keeping charisma in. I could only get these facts through my playtesters. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same on YouTube. And it was the reverse, 80-20 in favour of the older players. Players who'd gone back a bit wanted to take charisma out. This meant we had a dead tie. So that means for the first time ever in any RPG, we're going to have it as an optional stat. So I'm still going to continue with the original plan, but I'm going to have charisma as optional. And as GMs, you have the choice to bring it in or take it out. And that was the whole point of this process. And that pretty much answers Nathan's question here, Nathan Hawks, who says, I consider making charisma an earned point pool. Makes a great point in his statement. There will be occasional need for the number. And I agree with that. It is interesting, but I think we found the perfect compromise. So well done to everybody who pitched their point, their comments across. It has been duly noted. And you can see how those points are going to shape this RPG. For the first time ever, as far as I'm aware, an optional stat, charisma. Fascinating, really. Let's move on. The magic user thief cleric gave this comment, provocative. I like the discarding of charisma. However, he goes on to say, I enjoy the achievement stat. If a game is high magic, why isn't magic a stat? And that's a far more flavourful way of saying it. Lastly, luck as a burnable stat shows some DCC crossover. This is a good show, Sean. Really like it, basically. He's been very instrumental. He's given me many, many good ideas over a short period of time. Fantastic comments throughout. But I think he got it, that what the idea behind attunement is, and he says it so beautifully here. I think it's worth sharing, as there was some confusion from some of the playtesters, and equally a couple of people asked. But a lot of you, I think, got it, but this is the beautiful way of saying it. So thank you for those comments. What was lovely was that Natural 20 Films made a fantastic video about charisma, and he won't realise this, but I'm just going to mention it now, that I used that video, played that video for the playtest group to have a look at it, to give them the both sides of the coin. Look at various people's perspective. It's not just about mine, it's also about yours, and that was very useful. We did have a very interesting split decision, as I previously said, but those video responses are going to prove very valuable to the series. So thank you for making it, Natural 20 Films, and I look forward to any other responses that we get with the forthcoming programmes about this Let's Build an RPG. Thank you for doing it. Luck stat seems to have been generally accepted as an option. There were a couple of people who, both in the playtest and on YouTube, who had some issues with it. I'm going to use this one because I think it's a fair point raised, which is Tree Raper. I hope I've said that right. I dislike the luck stat based on thematic grounds. Its appearance says to me as a player that the game is going to be tricky or incredibly tough to win. I'm just going to take that sentence initially and just comment on that. Role-playing games are tough. There should be no doubt about it. It's not a question of winning it. It's a question of the group succeeding. I don't think any individual wins. I think that's what you're really alluding to. I like my games to be tough, but that doesn't mean that they cannot be survivable, as you'll go on to see. The characters will actually be good. It will just be different than what some people expect, as you'll go on to realise. So I won't read any further into the question, but it is a fair point, and again, this was read out to some of my playtesters, so thank you very much for it. In Jeffrey's next question, Jeffrey Garrison again, he raises this question. He says he sees an issue with dropping health and skill effectiveness of luck as a mildly mitigating factor, and there seems to be too much emphasis solely on the luck attribute as it stands. I took this point on board, and I think that there is a very easy way to do this. So what we're going to do is as following. Other than what we've already mentioned about charisma as an optional stat, the rolling up process is going to stay the same except for luck. Luck now will be formed from the other stats, either the other 4 or the other 5, and basically it will be the average of those. So as an example, Jeffrey, just to show that it's going to just be a fair average, which means it won't be so much down to chance. So let's take an example. I'm probably not making much sense, but this should easily answer it. Let's take that the other 4 stats all added up to 40. The same old equation will apply. Divide it by 4. That would give us 10. That will be the luck stat. That way it will be relatively fair for all. No one's luck will be too low that it's unplayable, and no one's luck will be too high that it makes it just too valuable a stat. I think that eradicates the problem and the issues that I see, and I take your point on board. We'll know more as we go into some of the other steps. So thanks for raising it, Jeffrey. Great point again. Another good point raised by Natural 20 Films was in one of the other videos he mentioned about the XP calculator, which he thought was very solid. He felt it had some reminiscence back to Call of Cthulhu. I won't disagree with that. I think that's a very fair point raised. And he says that he likes the initial skill point using multipliers of education and intelligence. I've never had any complaint about it when used in Cthulhu. This makes a lot of sense. Even though people with higher roles have more points, it's never a problem. And again, I think he's hit on the point of what we're doing with building this RPG. And so did a number of the playtesters and some of you through your emails and stuff that you sent me. And I do raise that here. So thank you very much again, Natural 20 Films, for raising that. It's a good point to bring up at this point in the video. So thank you. I'm never sure how to pronounce this name, but I'll call it Blue Eye because that's the symbol that's used. One of the complaints we hear from old school folks is that each iteration of D&D makes things more mechanical, more constraining. I think there's some validity in that. TSR or Wizards of the Coast could have tried to encourage creative solutions to problems, but instead came up with more dice rolls. I would love to see an RPG that took an opposite approach to this, giving us more tools for coming up with our own solutions, for developing creative skills and role-playing techniques. Just a thought. It's a brilliant thought, Blue Eye. I'm sorry I can't pronounce the lettering. You're absolutely right. I hope you're seeing already with the way we're dealing with charisma and luck that we are doing just that, and there will be multiple ways to give the GM and the players options within this game. So thank you very much for mentioning that, and it's certainly something that I am bearing in mind throughout this whole process. Well, those were just a snippet of some of the comments we had in. To keep it simple, we received over 120 likes between the intro video and the first 3 videos, which I think is fantastic. We received in excess of 150 comments. We had only 2 negatives, and the playtest group confirms the support that you guys and girls have shown, which is fantastic. You can probably see in this process how already you're already making significant inroads into the thought process. You can see how we're going to put charisma in as an alternative stat for certain gaming groups where it's going to work, which I think is a fantastic idea. I also love the idea that we're going to make luck a combination of the stats rolled. So whether you're using 4 stats or 5, it will be a combination of those to form luck, which I think is just a perfect solution to this. So all that leads me to do at this point is say thank you very much. This is just an update and comment program, and following on from this program, within a few minutes of me launching this one, or at some point today, I will be launching the 5th video, which will go into the next thing. Well, naturally, we need to talk about the races next. So I look forward to seeing you on that video. So take care of yourselves, happy gaming, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.